Welcome to this event. This is the first of many that we're going to be running over the next day and a half. I'm sure you're probably asking the question, why are we here? Well, the challenges we face with the global downturn and the economic climate are not unknown to any of us. And in the public sector, we face the same challenges that I'm sure many people face in the private sector. And we can no longer face them as individual departments. And we've got to start looking at how we work as one organisation. And that perhaps is something in the past we haven't been terribly good at. So the purpose today is to really show you and showcase ourselves just how well we're doing and how much we're already achieving. But again, we've always got to be ready to do a bit more. And I think today what you'll see, I hope, was going to inspire you to say we can do a lot more. We're going to show you some quick clips of introductory messages from Senator McLean, who's leading on the reform programme. And we're going to discuss some of the challenges we face. And then there's an overview of actions we're taking to address them, and we're going to work our way through. And Stephen Austin-Voce, who's the Reform Programme Director, is going to be summarising with some video clips. So it's going to be a bit interactive with some slides and some video clips. And then I'm afraid you've got to do some work in a minute. There's some voting. We're going to ask some questions, get you to vote, which is what the buttons are there for. And after that, it's very much a case of saying, please go and have a look around the exhibition. Please talk to your colleagues, because I'm sure, and I've already heard, that just walking around generates ideas. So all the ideas you generate are the ones we want to use for the future. So I'm going to move straight into the first clip from Senator McLean, and he's leading the reform programme for us from the political level.
So far, I've been really impressed and in fact quite inspired by the stories that I've heard of the public sector reform programme. It's really impressive what's being rolled out in different departments. What we want to do is make sure that we take the public with us on this journey and they begin to have the same level of pride in a new organisation, a more efficient organisation, a more agile organisation that you can be part of delivering. But you can't do it alone. It's a whole organisation solution that needs to be delivered. You need support from your politicians, and I can tell you that we're 100% behind you. That's from the Chief Minister, the Council of Ministers, throughout. I may be the lead Minister for Reform, and I'm proud to have that position, but it's a full organisation that's going to deliver the type of public sector in this island, an island that's efficient and agile and small, that means we can have a world-class public service that can be the envy of the world. That's what we need to aim for. That's what I believe we can deliver, but we can only do it with you. We have to work in partnership. I know we can do it. Thank you very much for coming along today. I hope you find it productive. I hope you find it really useful. And I know that together we can be part of shaping a really exciting new future for Jersey. Thank you.
Well, I think there's an introduction that just shows some fantastic images of the work that you all do and your colleagues do in the States. And there'll be many more coming up as we go through this presentation. And we've tried to just get a snapshot of truly the work that you all do. And I know the public always look and demand extremely high quality of service, and I think we should all be proud in what we deliver. And you probably noticed some parish colleagues there. And I think it's important that we recognise that although we're the states and we've got the parish workforce and workers, we are actually together providing high quality service to the public. And as we look to improve and modernise our services, we just need to be able to embrace that collaboration, work with colleagues, other parishes, charities, third sectors, because ultimately we are all here to serve the public and provide high quality public services. I think Jersey is a truly unique place to live, with great schools, great services, great environment. And everyone who lives here, and everyone who's in this room today, contributes to making that happen. So from me, a very big thank you. But that said, the challenges we face are not insignificant. For example, at the moment, we have 4 taxpayers for every pensioner. If we don't take any active steps to address that ratio, we'll be 2 taxpayers to every pensioner by 2040. And that places a huge burden on those who are paying tax to make sure there's enough income to look after me when I'm in my pension, and I'm sure some of you. So that's one of the challenges that we face. Our ageing population is only one example. The cost of delivering services continually grows. Health have continual pressures, increased new drugs that understandably we have to prescribe, we have to give to patients. They cost a lot more. The police, for example, many years ago, any police officer colleagues here, you'd have had basic equipment. I can remember Dixon and Dock Green with the whistle and the truncheon. Now, understandably and quite rightly, just look at the level of equipment you have to do your job. And no one should be denied that equipment, but we have to recognise there's a cost associated with it. And the public really value the services we deliver, but the demand continues to grow, and that's one of our challenges. So the reform programme is about addressing those challenges, but also managing the rising expectations of the public. Funding pressures is another reality we have to deal with. Clear expectation that we need to deliver more with less. On a good day, we can look forward to delivering more with the same, but the reality is, because of the world economic situation and the pressures on public services, we are being asked and we're being expected to deliver more for less. And that really is what this reform programme is about, how we can lean, how we can modernise, work together more so that we can continue to deliver the high quality of service, but have to recognise it's probably with less money. So what does this mean we have to do? We have to continue to re-engineer our services and as an organisation just continue to be more efficient. And it's not just a single push, it's just continually working towards. And what you're going to see, or you've already seen out in the hall there, are just several examples for today, but this is the start and we have to continue. We need to move through using lean to look at our technology and how we can improve technology to improve the services we deliver. So we have to have more time to actually make sure that we can deliver those services, and so that anyone who's teachers, you can teach, but you have the technology to support you. If you're a police officer, you're out there doing the role, but you have the technology to support you to make sure that there's a seamless flow of paperwork, etc. And if you're just looking at this slide, we put this one up because if you're wondering what the books are, they're actually the parish records relating to marriage, which are archived in the registry office. And just as an example about modernising how we deliver services, if you get married in Jersey, it currently takes 13 different steps, and it should take 2. Some of you might disagree with that, but it's just an example of how many times you have to have contact with different departments, different organisations, sign different forms, fill in your name and address, etc. Those date back to 1910, 1911. So we haven't changed very much, because I think you'd find at the very end of the shelf there'd be one which is 2014. So maybe the time is right now to start thinking about what does change look like. And there are many, many other examples where we can look at how we remove, I won't use the word waste, because I don't think we have intentionally wasted, but it's just a case of saying, how can we look to make what we do simpler and more efficient? A few examples and a few statistics, but just as a flavour. In the hospital, where they've been looking at lean on many of their processes, there's one project which looks like we're going to be saving 30,000 meals a year to the patients, but still providing good quality service and good quality meals. If any of you ever have to go to the hospital for a blood test, in the past you might have been waiting 1.5 hours in a queue. Now you wait 20 minutes. And that's all because the staff themselves have embraced lean and they've looked at ways they can improve the services they deliver. Social Security, if you have a change in circumstance, it used to take 10 days to process, now it takes 3 days or less than 3 days. And these are all changes that have been brought about by you and your colleagues, and it's the people in the organisation who are coming up with the ideas, getting the training in lean and just going out and doing it. And that's the whole flavour and essence of this change programme. And we're here to support you and certainly help you in achieving those ambitions. But we're already behaving differently, and that's what it's all about. Another example of doing things differently is the way we cross boundaries in departments. Lots of initiatives. I'm just going to pick one because it's one that really has had an impact, not just on us as an organisation, but on the public. When we started to see the unemployment rise, and rising quite rapidly, we brought together teams from education, social security and economic development. And it was bringing those teams together into the Back to Work team that's had such a huge impact on helping those who unfortunately did find themselves out of work to reskill, retrain and be in a good position so that when industry picks up, when jobs pick up, they're ready, they're skilled, they can take over. And there are many other examples: crime reduction in the community, a combination of focusing on different sectors, different parts of the organisation to look after physical activities, physical environment, and the police themselves, and joint working with parishes and youth clubs. If I had time, I could go through lots and lots of different examples, but these are just a few of the changes that are already happening, and we can do more. Ultimately, it's about you, your colleagues, and it's about making sure we put pride back into the organisation. This is about being proud to work for the public service. 2 or 3 years ago, if I'd stood here, I'm not sure I could have said we were proud to work for the public service. We've been through quite a lot of rough times. Now, when I see the buzz out there and I'm able to start showing politicians and the public just how we're delivering good quality modern services, I'm proud to work here, and I want to make sure you're proud, and you're proud to be telling your children, your parents, your wives, etc., this is a great place to work. In essence, workforce here, we need to be fair. We need to make sure that you're treated fairly, you're paid properly, our terms and conditions, workforce modernisation is part of it, are fair and appropriate for the public service. Workforce modernisation is putting in new terms and conditions. We had too many different ones, and we had inequality going on. Working with unions and colleagues, it is about bringing those together to make sure we value the work you do, and above all, we're consistent in how we treat all of our public service staff. And a new job evaluation scheme that is capable of measuring all the work we undertake, and all will provide the basis for a new pay structure. And that's not about fear of what a pay structure looks, but it is addressing what was, I think, 24 different pay sectors or pay groups. It is about bringing those together to have a much fairer and more equal service. This sort of change doesn't come without challenges, and that's why we've been working so closely with the unions and in partnership with the unions. And you'll see the unions have got stands here today. 4 years ago, I don't think we'd have had that, but it's a mark of the way in which we've been able to move with colleagues to actually embrace and engage with people and unions, that we can now work together. So again, a very big thank you to union colleagues for working with us. And it is about trust, building that trust and respect amongst each other to be able to deliver these changes. And it's about engaging with you. So to summarise, I want to look at some of the areas we're going to be focusing on in the future. And the future's got to be a lot better. We need to make sure that you have the right environment to work in. We need to make sure that we're providing you with the right tools and the technology, whether that's physical or E-type tools, technology. And we need to recognise the contribution you make and working together. And again, I think a little bit of praise sometimes has been lacking in the past. Today, I have an opportunity of saying to a small audience, but over the next 2 days, a much bigger audience, a very big thank you for the work you're doing and for helping us make sure that we deliver the public services that the public are going to be proud of. We want you and your colleagues to feel excited and proud about coming to work in Jersey. Working for the States of Jersey should be something we aspire to, and your children and others out in community aspire to and want to come and work here. As a citizen, customers want experience and quality of service. People want to be able to interact with us a lot more. They want to do a lot more online. And I quoted the example of marriage, 13 forms. It's endless, filling in forms. We want that to become part of e-government, and you'll see e-government demonstrated today. We are in a unique position because we're a small island. And wouldn't it be great if the size of our island allowed us to be so nimble that everything was just so slick and efficient? But the opportunity is there, and we really must seize it. And it's possible for us to become an example, not just to ourselves and the community here, but an example to other jurisdictions of just how by working together we really can achieve that success. We're going to show you a clip now from Stephen Austin-Vautier, who's leading and running the reform programme for us, and it's about the quality of service delivery.
The outside world is changing very fast. The private sector now is moving ahead, has to shape up in order to be competitive. The public sector needs to do the same. We're looking for participation right up and down the organisation so that we get input at all levels. The people who are in the public sector are the community. And not only that, they have an extended community by virtue of their nearest and dearest and their children who are in schools. And so we make up actually quite a lot of the population of the island. What we want now is we want everybody's input, right from the people who work on the front line and all through the organisation. And it's their ideas that we really want to come forward and suggest improvements to their ways of working. It probably hasn't always been the case that we thought about the customer need first. But that's got to be the watchword for the future. And if somebody rings up with a question, the first thought in your mind should be, how do we actually get this question answered? And if that involves asking other people within the public service and then going back to the person with the answer, then that's the way we need to do business.
Thank you, Stephen. Some good words, and I think it just gives an example of ideas about quality and service we're going to deliver. When we were putting all this presentation together, I was asked to record a few clips, so I hate this bit because actually I've got to look at myself, which is not my favourite thing. So a little message from me and a few pointers from me, I think, coming up next. Every public sector employee has to recognise that we are part of the island community. We're very large in terms of employer. We've got to make sure that we all recognise how we all play a part in delivering the services as opposed to the function of the department. I'm really impressed by how much is really going on. I don't think we shout loudly enough about it. The future is about trusting your colleagues in a number of other departments, and it is quite a big change from being fairly small focused to very large focus. But if the culture is right and our behaviours towards each other are right, then the opportunity is immense and we can achieve so much. But we just have to make that step change and have the confidence in ourselves to make that change into the future. Well, today's the first time we've run an event such as this. We've got so many staff, an opportunity to see all the work we're doing across the department. And if there's one thing I want to reinforce, it's the message we're all in this together. And the power that we can bring collectively is so great. But I just urge you to work with us and see the benefits we can all deliver. And it is your opportunity, our opportunity, to shape the future for how we deliver public service. In closing, I want to just say to you, when I set out on this reform programme, and when I took on the role as Chief Executive, the one thing I said I wanted to do was bring pride back into the organisation. I want you and your colleagues to be proud to work for the organisation. I want you to be proud about being able to deliver effectiveness and efficiency of the services we deliver. I want the pride back in the organisation, and I think we've made a huge step towards it, and today and the future is about making sure we are all proud, you're proud to work for the States of Jersey, and you're proud to say so, And so let's take away from today that real sense of pride and passion, because together we can really deliver a fantastic public service.